So what you would need for this project is large pair of scissors to be able to cut these guys out, make sure they're sharp. Small pair of scissors for trimming the thread, the needle with a thread, a pin or two, so you'll be able to hold your project in place, and the various colors of the fabric that you will be using. We will be having 4 different shades in our project today. And the candle, lighter, and whatever you want to put in the middle of your flower, some kind of bead or crystal, button, whatever it is that you'd like. And that is all. Okay, I was going to teach you how to make this little flower. So it's organza in different shades, and it has a little pin in the back. And if that's the only thing you have, you can use this. Or they sell a little lock for a handmade pin if you'd like to use one. So what we are going to need for this project is, you're going to need a little bit of organza. If you have a remnant of organza, that would work, in a few shades or maybe one. And these are somewhat finished projects that I pre-made some petals so you could see what they will look like. So let's move on to the next step. So the next step would be to lay out your remnant. It's already pre-cut in these little squares, and I notch the little pieces at the very top, so it'll create a little bit more of a form for your project. So the next step will burn the edges. What I will do is I'll need a straight candle. Try not to breathe in the fume because they're disgusting. So this is really what I do. Try not to burn too much, but if we're making a rose, this creates a really nice kind of a darkened, faded look. Like a decadent sort of an edge of a rose. And that's why I like this color, would be perfect for this kind of project. And then you see as it burns, it curls the edge inwards and creates a petal. And it finishes the edge as well, so it wouldn't come undone. Smells terrible. Anyway, now it's done. Now that we've burned the edges, you see how the petal is cupped a little bit, so it has a curved edge. So that way you can create a petal out of all them together. So sort of put them a little bit off to the side, so it's not in the center of the circle, but a little bit off to the side where it's pinned. So it'll create somewhat a petal effect. Like this. See this one? But I don't like that one. And now it's almost ready. And you can put in a little bead in here, or a bow, whatever it is that you like. What do we have right here? Like a little bead. Whatever it is that you'd like to be put in there. And it'll be a flower. So the major idea in this project is to create a rose that has different shades layering into each other. So I'll take the darkest red and make an outer lay of the flowers. And it's held, right now it's held by a pin, and just make somewhat edge of it touch each other. These are very little, and they'll come on the inside. And the bigger ones come on the outer side. So just the edge touches each other. Make sure they're all held in place. And now my pin is holding all of them, and then I'll take my thread and I'll make a stitch straight through, and one more. And now they're all held in place, and then we'll put a lighter color in there. In the same manner, that scooping petal. See how the shade kind of mixes together. You can sort of see how the shades will be. Now since the red ones are already held in place, we're holding them together with the pink ones. In the same thread, goes through again. It's going to get quite thick, but you can get it as much as you want in. You can have bigger petals or smaller petals. I think this side looks empty, so I'll add a little bit there. Make sure to try to have your needle come out at the same point where you started. And you put the lightest ones in the middle. In the same manner. Flowering out. And it is pretty much done. You can put a little pin in there if you'd like to. Something in there. What do we have? Like this. Or a little stone. Like this. So it'll make sense to finish it with something. So let's do that next. So to finish this flower, you see we stitched all of them through one dot, and now we created this flower. And to finish it, you can put in a button like I said before, or I like to finish it with a little last petal, which we will use. It's the lightest petal we have. I sort of fold it like a little flower, so it'll look like this. Sew it onto the middle. So finish our look, and we won't have a dot that we perforated through with our needle. And now it's done. So the next step is we'll make the leaves like this. What we will do is we will have the same petal, but in green, and just cut it in half along the longest side, and then burn it. Just try to be careful, don't burn yourself. It's always nice to burn the edges because that way they won't fray, and it'll stay alive for long. So in the same manner as we put together the pieces, we'll sort of cup the flower with these leaves like this. So again, find the middle. And just sew them up. And they look like blue leaves. And make securing stitch. For a cleaner look, I'll just sew on one more green petal. So I'll sort of cup everything, the whole contraption. And then we'll sew on this little part. Do you want to stop? And so we'll sew on the pin itself. on the bottom. What would help you is if you rotate the flower and find where do you want to be the top of the flower in the end. I like it anyway, because that way you can pin it wherever you'd like and just sew on this. I'm going to open the pin so it'll be more comfortable for me to sew it on. So lay it against the flower. One side is held in place, and in the middle, make sure it doesn't get shifted off the middle of your project. The tack in the middle is really symbolic. The side is where the most pressure will be. So if you pull the sides the tightest, that'd probably be best. And do a little bit of a lock. Make sure it doesn't get tangled in your project. And it did, and now it's not anymore. And a little lock right here. And it's done. And now you can put it anywhere you'd like. On your clothes. These flowers are really good for traveling, so in case they get flattened in a suitcase, it's a really easy way to make them come back to life. It's just like sort of. Now this is our finished product, so you can put it on your clothes, on your necklace, on the belt, wherever it is that you'd like. Thank you for watching.